the Lord is called bhakti yoga, or transcendental loving service to the Lord. And what is called knowledge becomes a concomitant factor. Purport: the general and popular notion is that by discharging fruitive work in terms of the direction of the scriptures, one becomes perfectly able to acquire transcendental knowledge for spiritual realization. Bhakti yoga is considered by some to be another form of karma, but actually Bhakti yoga is above both karma and jnana. Bhakti yoga is independent of jnana or karma. On the other hand, jnana and karma are dependent on bhakti yoga. This kriya yoga or karma yoga, as recommended by Sri Narad to Vyas, is specifically recommended because the principle is to satisfy the Lord. The Lord does not want his sons, the living beings, to suffer the threefold miseries of life. He desires that all of them come to him and live with him. But going back to God, it means one must purify himself from material infections. When work is performed, therefore, to satisfy the Lord, the performer becomes gradually purified from the material affection. This purification means attainment of spiritual knowledge. Therefore, knowledge is dependent on karma or work done on behalf of the Lord. Other knowledge, being devoid of bhakti yoga or satisfaction of the Lord, cannot lead one back to the kingdom of God, which means that it cannot even offer salvation, as already explained in connection with the stanza, Naishkarmyam api achyuta bhava varjitam. The conclusion is that a devotee engaged in the unalloyed service of the Lord, specifically in hearing and chanting of his transcendental glories, becomes simultaneously spiritually enlightened by divine grace, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Yadatra kriyate karma bhagavat-paritoṣaṇam jñānaṁ yatad adhīnaṁ hi bhakti-yoga-samanvitam. Whatever work is done here in this life for the satisfaction of the mission of the Lord is called bhakti yoga, or transcendental loving service to the Lord. And what is called knowledge becomes a concomitant factor. We see actions in this material world for everyone who is not enlightened is, we are taught in Bhagavad Gita that is impelled by guna. Prakriti kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvasha. We are being impelled to eat, sleep and do sense gratification. The modes of nature are impelling us. And we have our own ideas of engaging in this creation. We have our own ideas also. Then it's fulfilled according to our karma, according to our body also. But Vedas tell us that there's a higher state of being and there's a higher personality. Uttama shlokastha, Uttama purushastha anya paramatmeti udarata. There's another supreme being in this material world who is not conditioned, not liberated like us, not a conditioned or liberated soul, and he is in charge. And he is also known, in some places he is known as the super self, because we are part of him, the super self. So Vedas tell us there is another being and we are meant to serve that being, and serving that being, this is a higher purpose in life. Externally it looks like the same thing. He's also sleeping, eating, working, but he is connected to the Supreme Being. So then it's mentioned in Gita that Yasma, what is that? Ato asmi loko vedecha pratita purushottam. I am known in the Vedas and among the people as Paramatma. Because I am not part of the, I am not either one of the liberated or conditioned souls. I am above, Krishna says. So he is not one of us. So the Shastra says, if we serve such a person, we come to a higher state of being. Otherwise, people are living on a different level. They are being impelled by guna. Guna is telling them what to do, how to act. Practically, we are servants, we are slaves of this Maya. And now one may say, okay, what if I'm serving God, I'm also a servant, I'm also a slave. Actually, when we are serving God, our senses, our body is not being impelled in that sense. We decide how to serve God, what to do. But when we come under Maya, that is lack of independence. So trying to exist in that state where we are impelled by guna and trying to fulfill our material desires, that is a painful and disturbing existence because it's not natural for us. But living to serve and satisfy the super self, the higher being, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, this puts us in a state of peace, happiness, and if we continue, then it gives us perfection. In other words, awakens a love for God. When we say love of God, the covering in our that which is covering our consciousness, that covering goes, and our full nature is manifest. Actually, full nature is we're meant to be happy, full of knowledge, and in a perfect state of, and a state of eternality. But that is not manifest. So that state will come when we go back to our original state. And if we go back to original state of living to satisfy the super self, even though we didn't reach that state, but we start to come towards it. Immediately when one comes to bhakti, some level of happiness comes, some level of knowledge, realization. It's such a powerful path that this happens. So when we come on this higher state and we attain perfection, then that is prema, love of God. Now in comparative to that is kama, prem, then there is kama. So kama means acting for our own motive, for our own satisfaction. Part of coming to knowledge means to properly understand what is kama and what is prem properly. Even forget about prem, understand what is kama. So now in Srimad Bhagavatam, in Bhagavad Gita, it's explained. We have to recognize. Like if someone becomes sick, we have to understand, okay, you're sick because of this, because of that, this is what happened. Now this is what you have to do. Be careful, don't take this, take that, eat more of this. We have to understand the disease properly. So part of knowledge means to understand that. It's in Bhagavad Gita, in chapter 3, towards the end. Srimad Bhagavatam, much more detail is given about it. Especially because we should not confuse kama and prem. We should not. Bhagavad Gita, there is that verse that says that kim karma, kim akarmeti, kavayobi atra mohita. What is karma? Karma is acting for our sense gratification by following Shastric injunction. Karma. Akarma, acting to satisfy the Supreme. Kavayobi atra mohita. Even people who are educated, pandit, they'll confuse. What is kama, what is prem? Feeding poor people, is that akarma? No, it's not bhakti. It's not bad, it's good. But it's not akarma. It's not satisfying the Lord. Satisfying the Lord means feeding Him. Then and then remnants is prasad. Distributing that to the poor people? No, to everyone. Everyone. And if you distribute to poor people, there's a quote, Srila Prabhupada said, then this becomes karma kanda. Then we want to get some benefit by feeding people who are not getting food. But rather, we are distributing the result of yajna. And so we have to give the rich people also. They're also suffering. They're also in the cycle of birth and death. They're suffering because they're not linked to Krishna. So, properly understanding what is prem, what is kama, what is karma, what is akarma, this is part of it. And for that we have to be astute in Siddhanta, proper understanding. So now how this calm, how is it infecting, where it resides, and what is increasing and decreasing. Bhagavad Gita is dealing with this. Bhagavad Gita is it's a bhakti shastra. So is Bhagavatam. They impart bhakti. But part of this imparting bhakti means to understand why we are not in bhakti. How we are not in bhakti. So we have to deal with the material nature which is affecting us. Actually, being infected by calm, this is a disease condition. We are in a disease condition. And a disease condition means that we are not acting normally, talking, we are like mad people. Literally mad. What a mad person will do. There's a saying now in Sanskrit. What will a goat not eat? What will a mad person not say? So what will we not say? People say all sorts of things like, I am God. That is mad. Ultimate madness. Actual purpose of varnashram, Prabhupada writes in one place, is to become free from calm. This is the purpose. Come free from the tendency to serve ourselves. And so, in the beginning, yes, serve yourself through Shastra. Follow Shastric injunction and enjoy gradually. By Karma Yoga, one gets Jnānaṁ. Karma Yoga. But in beginning it was not Daivi Varnashram. But even not Karma Yoga. Karma means we are connected to the Vedas. That also gives knowledge. That gives knowledge. Jnānaṁ. So one of the purpose of Varnashram, actually, no, Prabhupada didn't say that. He said purpose of Varnashram is to remove lust. Gradually overcome this contempt. Because every time I'm acting in my Varna, I'm not acting for me. It was not my idea. Shastra says, so I'm doing it. And since Shastra is a high authority, by following high authority, we're becoming purified. There's a verse which is described as, Gaudiya Acharyas say this is the one of the, one of or the main verse of Gaudiya Siddhanta. What is it? Well, there's so many we can say. And if you say one, I'll say that. You may think one thing. Elsewhere they'll say, no, that verse is the one, another one. But anyway, this verse, Atmendra Priti Vansha Tare Bale Kam. Krishnendra Priti Ichcha Dhare Premanam. The desire to satisfy my senses is calm. The desire to satisfy Krishna's senses is prem. It's a big difference. Big difference, but it doesn't look like it. It looks like same thing. Somebody is performing actions, working to serve the Lord, cleaning the floor of the temple. Others cleaning his house, the same. Little thing. But it's like iron and gold. Very big difference. Fundamental difference. But even iron and gold, a person who's not intelligent won't know that difference. If we say people who are not living within human so-called civilization, but in the jungle, you don't know, they'll maybe see iron and gold as the same thing. Of course, in a higher spiritual state, we'll also see the same. That's different. Samaloshtra ashma kanchanaha. Seeing pebbles, stones and gold as the same. That's different. That's seeing Krishna's energy everywhere, expanded. But someone less intelligent cannot tell the difference. So we have to learn the difference. What is calm, what is prem. Proper understanding. What is satisfying me? What is satisfying the Supreme Lord? Why does one engage in calm? Well, we can say many things. Why do I satisfy myself? Well, many things we can say. For example, why do I do it?
To avoid...
No, what is the root cause of, what is the cause of this calm? Okay, and okay. You can say that. That is a way of saying. Huh? Because of Rajagun. Yeah, that's also. There's a particular answer you can, but these are correct. You can say so many things. Why one engages in calm? But one reason is avidya. In Act of Devotion, it's given there that a person engages in sense gratification due to not understanding that he's a part of Krishna and servant of Krishna. Avidya, that relation is gone. It's gone because Maya covered it. So I think I'm the body, so I'll serve the body. Due to not knowing anything, due to avidya. Jnana yogis, they give up gross material activities and instead cultivate knowledge to try to understand God, to try, meditate on how they are separate from material existence, but they don't have that idea that I am part of God. So avidya remains. Therefore, they cannot get liberated. So due to avidya, lack of knowledge of my relation to Krishna, I think I'm the body, I'll serve the body. So this is due to lack of jnana, knowledge. So if I think I'm the body, I'll serve the body, isn't it? If I think that I'm Punjabi, I'll serve Punjab. If I think I'm a American, I'll serve America, make America great again. So according to what I am, if I think I'm a dog, part of this pack of dogs, I'll attack the other dog. Or if I think I'm a dog, I'll chase the cat. Why? I'm a dog, I have to chase the cat. That's what I do. So if you think you're human, then you need to satisfy your senses, as humans do, and do what humans do. I heard from in one lecture, one Maharaj, he said, if you think you're a man, you need a woman. If you think you're a woman, you need a man. But if you think you're a soul, you need Krishna. We need to serve Krishna. I'm a soul. Bhakti is a function of the soul, not the body. Therefore, we don't see the body, we say. We don't see the body. We may see it in terms of conditioning to assist the person. We may ask him, where are you from? And immediately we know where he's from. Oh, so you like rice or chapati or idli. We know we have to understand his mind, conditioning, so we can help him maybe. Otherwise, there's no concern, we don't care. Because bhakti is not function of the body, it's a function of soul. So how to come out of avidya? Here in the purport, in the first sentence, it's mentioned, because avidya means lack of knowledge, so we want to get jnana. So here it says, general and popular notion is that by discharging fruitive work in terms of direction of scriptures, how would you term that in Sanskrit? Discharging fruitive work in terms of direction of scriptures. This is karma. Karma. What about fruitive work not according to scripture? This is vikarma. So this is karma. Acting to fruitive work means I do something because I want the result to enjoy it. Okay. It's technical word for sense gratification. Really technical. But it's according to Shastra. So it says here that the popular notion is that if one does karma, if one is acting in varnashram dharma and following everything and getting results and enjoying the results, means living a happy life, enjoying his body, enjoying this world, enjoying everything according to Shastra, then if one lives like that, then he's able to acquire transcendental knowledge. He can get jnana like that. Actually, it's a fact. It's a fact that if you follow, but it will take very long. It will take a long time. This purification is slow, Then when people understand what is, because this is what people say, work is worship. It's true in one way. It is true in one level, but it's not the highest level. And why you want to stick on the lowest level? Come to the highest. So now people see bhakti yoga, it says here, bhakti yoga is considered by some to be another form of karma. That he's doing bhakti, that will also give some pious result, like I am getting a pious result. No, it's not like that. Bhakti yoga is above karma and jnana. So some people want to attain jnana, want to attain spiritual perfection, they say we'll do our duty, not knowing about God and the Supreme and everything. So, but bhakti yoga, it says, bhakti yoga is above karma and jnana. Why do you say bhakti is above karma? For karma to happen, actually you need little bhakti. It requires bhakti. In the sense you need to be subservient to the Vedas, to the Vedic injunctions, and if he's a personalist, then you need to be subservient to God, or if he's impersonal, then whatever religious system, you have to be subservient, you have to have some surrender So that is very elementary bhakti, because we say shantaras, that is even bhakti in one sort of way. You know. So bhakti is greater than karma and jnana. In the sense they are subservient. But bhakti is not subservient to jnana and karma. In the sense that in order for me to do bhakti, I don't have to, jnana means full knowledge that I am a realization that I am not the body, I am a soul. But even in beginning, someone can perform bhakti. Anyone, even an elephant, dog, cat. Sometimes they engage elephants to carry deities and etc. You know, there's a story in Madhva Sampradaya of this one Acharya who used his bull to carry scriptures, and he used to debate with everyone. And that bull got some perfection. Actually, some people killed that bull because what happened? He asked a question to someone in a debate. He couldn't answer that question. He said, "You can't answer. Even my bull can answer." And bull answered. And they got angry. Late at night, they came and killed that animal. And he took birth as a devotee. Next slide. So I'm saying that for bhakti, it doesn't depend on jnana, that we have to get jnana and realize that we can just perform bhakti and jnana will come. It says here, karma, and karma means actually varnashram, you don't need this varnashram for bhakti. It's not that will give bhakti, but it's needed to put us in a state where we can be sattvic and regulated and do bhakti. Therefore we are doing it. But actually bhakti, we always say this, that bhakti doesn't depend on varnashram and doesn't depend on jnana, doesn't depend on karma and jnana. Why? Because we are showing the superiority of bhakti. How it is complete, everything you can get through practice. But still we implement the varnashram so that people can be in a state of not disturbed and minimize lust and calm, so they can practice bhakti. So because in the main verse here it's saying that what is called knowledge becomes a concomitant factor. Whatever work is done here in this life for the satisfaction and mission of the Lord is called bhakti yoga, and what is called knowledge becomes a concomitant factor. Concomitant means it's included in that. So when one performs bhakti, devotional service, then knowledge comes. What knowledge? Jnana comes. What knowledge? What am I talking about?
Spiritual knowledge. Realization of our.
Yeah, exactly. Realization that I'm not a soul, that comes. You don't have to do it separately. Jnanis do that. Jnanis meditate that I am not this material world, I am not earth, I am not fire, I am not this body, I am not the mind, I am not intelligence. And they study and read Vedanta where it's speaking again and again, and Upanishads. It's mentioned again and again, what is the nature of Brahman, what is the nature of soul. In this way they realize that I am not the matter, but their realization comes that I am Brahman. I am that spiritual energy which is pervading everything, part of it. It's true in one way, but that is a fact that we are coming under the spiritual part of energy. But higher realization is that spiritual energy is also different. There's a Supreme Lord and there's a soul. So that's not complete. Now when one does bhakti, even the first new person starts doing bhakti, perception comes that I am a soul. It comes immediately, that jnana, that realization. And how do you see that? Because immediately he is able to give up meat eating, intoxication. He's able to not listen to dictates of the body. And he may say, okay, I'm not going to eat out anymore. I'm just taking prasad. That is later. But even beginning, he gives up meat eating and all these things. How does that come? Because he becomes separate from he perceives, I'm not the body. The dictates of the body fade away. Because the guna fades. Or that is called jnana. That is the beginning stages. So just by doing bhakti. So this verse is saying jnana knowledge is a concomitant factor of bhakti. It doesn't depend. And then we read Shastra, and very deep realized statement I got from one senior devotee. We were just discussing on Gita, then talking about Shastra and reading. He says how these jnanis study, whole day they'll study Vedanta. I said, okay, but we also study. And we are told to read a lot. Then what's the difference? And then he said a point that yes, I mentioned many times this, that yes, we are reading, but why are we reading? Why do we read? They reading to get jnana. I'm not the body. I am not part of this material world, part of this material body. But why do we read? Why do we read Bhagavatam and Gita? It's given in Bhagavad Gita, in the verse. Eta yogam vibhutim cha mama yoveti tatvata so avikalpena yogena yujyate na atra sankhya. Krishna says, by understanding my greatness and my mystic power and my superiority, you will get bhakti. Etad yogam vibhutim cha mama yoveti, who understands, veti tatvataha, so avikalpena yogena, one develops avikalpena yogena, in other words, one develops devotion to me. Of course, this is dasya, but that's also so great compared to where we are. So, by understanding greatness of God, it evokes devotion. So we are reading Gita and Bhagavatam, and this awakens our devotion. And as you said, that service to God. Then we are moved to serve God. And what about jnana? That will come. Vasudeva bhagavati bhakti-yoga-samanvitam jñānaṁ ashru vairagyam jñānaṁ yada hetukam. Serving Vasudeva. Vasudeva bhagavati bhakti-yoga-samanvitam. When bhakti yoga develops for Vasudeva, jñānaṁ ashru, automatically jñānaṁ, and immediately jnana and vairagya come together. And so that it's simply that one has to begin on the process of devotional service, because bhakti is complete. All we have to do is that. That's all. Okay, now a question comes, if it's complete, and so we have to do bhakti, we have to surrender to God and perform what He says, that is bhakti, doing what Krishna says. So why wasn't this said immediately in Gita? Why at the end? This is answered by Prabhupada in a book. Why is that? This is the highest. Now why are we going to karma, all this? Karma, jnana, yoga, everything is explained, going through all those explanations. This bhakti is the highest.
The superiority of bhakti over the other system.
Superiority. Yeah. Basically, to properly understand bhakti, you have to understand that. To see bhakti is not that. We'll mistake bhakti for karma kand, or for karma. We have to understand what is karma kand, what is jnana, what is jnana yoga and all that. Then we understand this is bhakti. Proper delineated. The difference between Kanishta and Madhyamadikara. Of course, one is that one doesn't see difference between devotee, non-devotee, envious. That's one difference. But one big difference is that the Madhyamadikari can substantiate his faith by Shastra. He can, through Shastra, substantiate Krishna Supreme, and then he's convinced. And Uttamadikari, not only he convinced, but he'll convince you. You come and you argue, and he'll convince you. Of course, Madhyama, they are preachers, they also. But Uttamadikari is, of course, higher platform. But the big difference is he can understand Shastra, he can substantiate his faith. Like, why are you believing this? Because I'm born in this family. In my family, they're worshipping Krishna many generations. That's maybe true, but he's able to say, see, Krishna is supreme. Why is bhakti the path, the only path? This is the reason. Many times we say there are different classes of transcendentalists. Jnanis, yogis, bhaktas. But I've seen Prabhupada said they are not transcendental. They have desire. Factually, only bhakti yogas are spiritual, on spiritual platform, because there is no desire at all, except desire to serve God. So actually that is saying how bhakti is superior. Everyone has a desire. They have desires. It's hard to conceive this idea, because if we are speaking about someone not having desire, it is it's a very difficult thing, very hard. How do you come on that stage? We can't imagine, because we are living life like that. We've seen and heard people like that. Now we want to say that someone not having desire. But in Lord Kapila's teachings, bhakti there is compared to a fire which burns up the sinful desires and sinful reactions. This depends on our intensity. How much we are intensely practicing, we immediately transform. The transformation is complete and very fast. Within one life, people change. We see people join devotional service. First thing we see, face changes. Isn't it? I don't know if you notice. I was with a devotee. He is a senior congregation preacher from Mumbai. We were in Tanzania, in Africa. And someone came and he said, and he was speaking with him. So are you following principles? Are you reading? Are you chanting 16? Yes, I'm chanting 16 rounds daily. Okay, got up and left. I thought, wow, he's chanting 16 rounds. He's not. How? Look at his face. It's full of desires and I mean, that was his conclusion. He was advanced devotee. He chants 32 rounds, that devotee. And he is initiated, very old devotee. So, practically when we see someone come in devotion, face changes, bright, opens up. And we understand face is index of the mind, which means mind became purified. Mind becomes purified, nature changes. And see, we took it for granted. But there's nothing false on this planet that can change someone. There's that, saying in, where does it come? That jackal who fell in the blue dye. I think maybe it comes in Pancha Tantra, maybe. This jackal was roaming around in a village and fell in a tub of blue dye. Then he got out. You heard this? You heard it. So he got out, is walking around, then the animals come. Oh, who are you? We've never seen you before. Are you some special being? Then the jackal realized, oh, I can play along with this. Huh? Yeah, I'm special. Who are you? I'm the king of the forest. So everyone accepted, even the lion accepted. Oh, you're the king, okay. Because they were so enamored. Oh, blue color animal. No one's seen that. Okay, so you know what happened. That far away he heard a jackal. And jackal's nature is if he hears a jackal, just like a dog, he'll get up and start barking. No sense, no reason. So he just started, then they say, oh, you're a jackal. And I don't know what happened after that. They attacked him or lion attacked him, whatever. And then the what do you call it, conclusion, moral of the story is, once a jackal, always a jackal. True, but not in bhakti. That is our general idea. But in devotion, people can change. How they change, it's a mystery, it's a magic, but we are seeing it every day. But as Prabhupada said, in Kumbh Mela, when that person came to him and asked him, what magic did you do? What can you do? What mystery? I'm asking everyone here, in each tent, each guru. And what is your? And he pointed, I made Mlechas and Yavanas into Vaishnavas. Okay, so actually that title maybe now pertains to everyone. Because actual definition of Mlecha is meat eater, Yavan means who left Vedic culture, who doesn't follow principles. So actually devotion, this bhakti, is so powerful it can transform. But we are seeing, taking for granted that people, we are seeing change, and we are seeing how he become devotees chanting, oh he stopped me. But it's really shocking. It's so shocking that when the first people came from the West, even now, people watch, how can you change? How are you doing all these things? We are not able to do, you are doing. You can also do it if you chant Hare Krishna and read Bhagavad Gita daily. So this is the potency. And the verse is saying here, and what we call knowledge, purification. What is really purification? Here in the purport it's written, purification means attainment of spiritual knowledge. Purification means guna is not there. When guna uncovers, then I realize I'm a soul. I realize I'm a servant of Krishna. This is knowledge. This is purification. So when work is performed to satisfy the Lord, one becomes gradually purified and he realizes his nature, then the guna doesn't act. It doesn't act. What is impelling the people, I said in the beginning, in this world people are acting because they're impelled by guna. but gradually the devotee is not impelled. We see that. So knowledge is revealed through this purification of bhakti. Immediately, I am not the body, I am a soul, I am a servant of Krishna. This is revealed. And but for impersonalists, this is not the result. They don't come till Krishna. They get knowledge, some kind of knowledge that they are Brahman. Prabhupada says, other knowledge being devoid of bhakti or satisfaction of the Lord cannot lead one to kingdom of God. Bhakti will lead us to kingdom of God. But for a jnani or for one who is impersonal, doesn't accept form of God, it cannot lead. He cannot even save himself from it says here, he cannot attain salvation. They may temporarily stop cycle of birth and death. That comes actually in a verse, Naishkarmam api uchita bhava varjitam na shobhate jnanam alam niranjanam. This Narad Muni is saying, religion which is devoid of a conception of a personality of God, it is not really religion. You can't call it. Some people say, yes, I follow God, I follow a religious system, but they don't accept God as a person. This is not really religion. Na shobhate jnana alam niranjanam. What's out to that? Okay. So that verse says, the actual religion is you have to accept personality. So these jnanis, they get purified, come out of cycle of birth and death, but they can't fully escape the clutches of material energy. Yeah, famous verse by Brahma, where he said, Ye arvindaksha vimukta manina. Manina means they're accepting, they're thinking I'm liberated. We got liberated. Actually, they attain some kind of Brahma tejas. You can see, they get realized. Why? Because guna doesn't act grossly anymore. Material desires. But that one desire is remaining. I mean, still didn't yet think himself a servant of God. So, Yanyarvindaksha vimukta manina stoi astabhavad avishuddha buddha. Their intelligence is not yet purified. Aruya krichrena param padam. They struggle hard to come to the higher state, but patantyada na yushmad angraya. They'll fall again because they didn't approach the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, only by devotional service can one become free from Maya fully and can fully realize his identity as servant. But on other sense, you will not do bhakti unless you realize I'm a servant. So, initial mercy comes from a devotee, and that gives you a level of jnana. Either, in a harinam we heard, we took prasad, we associate with a devotee, some seed comes, some kind of realization, and that awakens, I have to serve God, or at least let me learn about this. So, of course, bhakti is given by devotees. So then by practice of bhakti, one becomes spiritually enlightened and obtains mercy of God, only he can be liberated. And knowledge, don't worry about that realization. It says here, jñānaṁ yatad adhīnaṁ bhakti-yoga-samanvitam. That's a concomitant factor of bhakti. By doing bhakti, we'll realize that I am a soul, I am not part of this body. And then when that realization comes, gross sense gratification is given up. Hare Krishna. Any question? Yes?
Is it proper to say that bhakti is not dependent on karma or jnana? But since we are dependent, so therefore we have to first acquire jnana, and on that basis we have to do bhakti.
We are dependent. Yeah, we are not dependent. Yeah, we are conditioned. We can do without it. We can do without it. But it will take long and it will be a big disturbance.
If you cannot fix my mind, follow regulated principle, you cannot do this.
So bhakti is not bound by regulated principles, but we have to follow so that, because we can't directly fix our mind.
Yeah, like I'll give you bead now. You want to get liberated? Chant 23.5 hours like Haridas. You can't.
Yeah.
Immediately mind will think, and then body will want to do something. So then, okay, engage. You want to do something? Plow the field. Plant some carrots. Or, okay, manage the people. Become a Kshatriya. Do something. I'm fully liberated, I have nothing to do. Okay, then avadut means we are not in the bound. We don't have to. But in our Siddhanta now, even if you're liberated, better follow still. Why? Yad yada charati shreshta. So anyway, we're not dependent in that sense, but we are conditioned, we have to do it. It's going to be easier, better for us. I don't know if we should say we are dependent. Okay, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.